Meeting to order?
Already, buddy.
Yes. So number 6, can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Number 7, discuss, approve, proposed, what's that? Oh, can I get a second? Sorry.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Number 7, discuss and approve proposed zoning ordinance amendments. So this is in your packet, pages 1 through 18. So we can go. Um, 60, section 6032. I think all I did was, here we go. So 6032. Detached accessory buildings shall be located in the rear side yard. That's the only thing that's really changed on that. Is there any opposition to leaving that as with that omission?
There was some discussion and I think our surveying lot wants to know where it's addressed for a setback lot. In other words, they've got access to the road for a driveway, but the lot is actually back in behind some other lots. You can't have 200 feet of highway frontage. So them have been permissible for a long time in the town. Is that addressed in here anyway? You following what I'm saying, like a balloon lot, you know?
No, it was for the 200 feet.
I know it's, right now, our lot width on the highway is 200 feet. But it doesn't address the fact the guy's only got 60 feet on the front. But he's got 100 acres back behind. He wants to get back there, so he doesn't have highway frontage. He's only got that driveway, got highway frontage.
So what's your question? I'm not
Is that
following.
addressed in here that those lots are,
Well, that's not part of this one, that'd be the next one.
Yeah, we'll,
okay?
I mean,
just
I
keep
guess
that in
see if-
mind.
Yeah, that's.
okay. So 6032, again, that only addresses removing, requiring that detached accessory buildings are located in the rear or side yard. Any opposition to that, or can I get a motion to approve those changes
Where you at?
on page 2?
Two.
How'd you get through over there?
Well, because
That's
nothing
what
was
counts.
changed on page 1.
It's reaching out there, you guys. That's reaching.
So you're just removing that 68.
Correct. Yep.
We're not motioning that.
No, we'll do them separate.
You're motioning them each individually?
Yeah, because we might make other changes. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any
No.
opposed? Do you want to, do you want any discussion, Clarence? Why?
So they're gonna go to that discussion with 4-1.
Well, I guess,
I don't think accessory buildings should be allowed in the front yard. They haven't for years, and that's what the people wanted the last time with strong opposition on it. So, when you're doing that, you're allowing a lot of stuff to happen in the town that has never happened in the past. And then when you get on shorelines, now you're allowing accessory buildings down on the shoreline.
well,
There's a lot of people about one.
I understand that.
okay,
We
Maybe.
understand that.
No.
great. So-
That don't mean I can't be opposed. to it.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to understand, that's all. All right, 6033. So changes with this are on page 4. Where basically we took out the structures permitted within the setback lines. The mindset was, number 2, those things, of course, are going to go within the setback lines. So really, it's reading letter E that those items are still not allowed within the setback lines. Underground structures, number 3, would of course be allowed, or, if needed.
Then all the rest of that you're taking out?
Yeah, that was the recommendation, to just remove the entire letter F.
So I got one question, why can't I have an open fence on the town's property line?
I guess there's a couple of ways to look at it. What it says is structures prohibited within the setback lines.
That's correct, and
And it doesn't say open fences.
no, you're taking it out of there. F1, open fences, you're getting rid of it.
Right,
It is allowed.
so it is allowed. So you're not even going to see letter F. So what you're going to see is letter E, structures prohibited within setback lines. No new building, mobile home, new sign. No building, mobile home sign.
Structures,
So,
yeah.
right, so those structures are not allowed.
So anything else technically would be.
So, right, anything else technically would be
I
allowed.
don't think a fence is a structure, an open fence.
It's allowed.
I
That would
don't
be
think a
allowed.
cornfield's an open fence.
Right, so
Right,
there's
that's just
nothing,
saying that it would be allowed.
so there's
It
nothing,
doesn't say that up there, everything up in that
Well, yeah, but we don't.
chapter
say
E
a tree.
pertains to structures.
right, structures prohibited, so there's nothing that says that open fences aren't. I mean, if you want, structures permitted within setback lines, we could just leave open fences, we could leave all of that, my mindset was just, well, of course telephone lines are gonna go there,
Well, if that's the way you're interpreting it.
That's the
make sure
way-
it Gets in the minutes that way. That anything that's not prohibited is allowed. And somebody will be in here with an unusual circumstance for you.
Well, and then we'll have to address that. I mean, I'm not opposed to leaving it with F and 1, I guess, open fences are allowed, but
It's not prohibited, then anything that's not.
right,
Which is the same as how.
I guess that's the way you're
Yeah.
reading it.
That's
Yeah.
what I would.
When it's written out, it saves a lot of questions.
and we forwarded this all to the building inspector and he had no issue with this section, so.
I'll make a motion.
To approve as
Yes.
is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any
No.
opposed? All right. Page 5, physical requirements applying to single and two-family residential dwellings. This was just to kind of clean it up and remove the minimum exterior width. And then the roof. That section was removed. And then mobility. Basically stating that modular and manufactured homes shall be anchored per state code. And that axles, wheels, hitches should be enclosed so that they're not visible.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. 60-62. So the next changes are on page 8 in your packet. Cleaning up the verbiage, minimum of 5 feet for the side yard setback, no reason to say combined would be 30. And then making it uniform so that the rear yard setback would be 15 instead of 40. And then also decreasing the minimum living area of a dwelling to 120, which is the least amount for a tiny home per state.
What's your rear yard setback gonna be on the water?
What's that? On what?
You're lowering that down to 15 feet.
We're gonna make
You
that,
already have a restriction that they gotta be 75 feet or 43 feet from the property line. with your setback from a highway. Now you're saying.
This-
but
This is the rear, this is the rear
The
though.
rear yard is towards the highway on the bay and on a river,
Then
Yeah, but
that
that's
falls
the road,
on
so we don't
shoreline.
have a
so
say.
they could be within 15 feet of the town right away.
You're sure.
No, shoreland zoning with the river and the bay
75.
would be all up to the county anyways.
75 high
Yeah,
wall.
but that's not what I'm saying. It's up to the county, but they're gonna
Right.
look at yours, what your minimum setback from the road is gonna be, and you're saying it should be 15 feet.
That's county roads and county roads.
So it's still a highway
The county
setback.
road's 100 feet. Plus the distance on your setback. But what I'm saying is you're moving it to 15 feet from 40.
The
So
40
you go along. You say it's a county road. There's a lot of roads in this town that aren't county roads that need setback. Okay, so right now it's 75 feet from the center line on a town road. If you're on water, the rear of the yard is towards the road. The front of the yard is towards the water. Yes, it is.
Well, it
Yeah.
depends who wants to build their house that way.
Well, you can go over to right out of the city of Peshtigo and look at one that's built exactly that way. It is not in the city, it's in the town. And I'm not gonna get into names, but it is. All I'm saying is now instead of having the 43 feet from the property line, you're moving it to 15 feet from the property line. The town's right away.
We could word
Which I
it,
don't care, it don't affect me.
We-
Rear.
It
You're
don't-
saying the river now is the front of the house?
The rivers, the water side is the front of your house when you're on water,
Says who?
says everybody.
My house.
You could have had it, you could have had it facing the other way,
I
that's,
don't know if I could have
that's
done that.
actually your front yard towards the river.
There's no any road in-
And that's defined somewhere, including in the county ordinance, it could be your front yard.
so you could change it, the wording to say with the exception of shoreline,
But shoreline is through the county.
Through the
Don't
county
matter,
anyway,
75
right.
from the high water. mark, so.
right?
I understand it's the county doesn't set your setback line.
They do in the
You set them, they look at them, if they meet their requirement, then they go.
Sure, but this wouldn't
we
meet their
can be-
requirement though.
We
Right,
can
but
be
right-
more restrictive than the county, we
But-
can't be less
but-
restrictive.
Yard setback already,
Right,
so 75
right.
should be in there. This
That's
is,
from the shore yard,
well, if the water is their front yard, then that is the shore yard.
75 feet, but your rear yard, you're moving it down to 15 feet.
Yeah, but letter B says shore yard setback.
so what he's
minimum.
saying though is
That's
that your rear
50.
yard could potentially be their front yard, which is their highway setback.
Yeah, but 40 feet already didn't match, the previous didn't
Well,
match
it's
either.
42 feet is actually from the property line.
And I would think that the highway setback would still trump your rear setback in this
Yeah.
instance.
That's the way you're reading it, go for it.
That's the way I would
I'm
interpret
not
that.
gonna have to battle.
Too.
Well, that's what I'm gonna tell people because, it's already wrong. The math doesn't math if 40, if it was 40 before, it didn't work for the last, since 2006 at least.
Right,
I'll make a motion to do it the way it is.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed?
Opposed.
All right, 63. So with this one. So this is ag 2. And this is one that the building inspector had questioned under number C, letter C. A detached garage will be allowed before a home is built if a site plan is submitted to the building inspector showing the location of the house and the detached garage. So his mindset was someone could potentially, if we remove that requirement, someone could potentially put in a detached garage or an accessory building where it doesn't make sense. And then when they want to do a house, now there's no room to put a house. So I can understand that argument. He said that because the plan commission kind of said, well, what if someone does the site plan, but then they never do a house? Well, that's fine, but at least it's developed to the point where it would make sense of where you could potentially put a house. So I'm not opposed to leaving that line in there. My only other question, and I didn't ask him this because I didn't realize it until later, that line is only there for Ag 2. It's not there for R1 or R2. And I don't know why that would be. If you're gonna do it for Ag 2, I would think you would have
You know,
that
we do
same.
we over the years have had requests for that.
Mhm.
Or to build a garage as long as they plot it off, and the building
Sure.
inspectors in the past have allowed them to do that.
I just think if we're going to leave that line, then we need to have that follow through with the other ones as
But
well.
when the building inspector does that, if you're gonna leave that line in there, he needs to also take that plan to the county to make sure it meets their septic and stuff.
Sure,
You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna put a house here, because the county's saying, well, now you haven't got room for your drain field.
okay. That,
So
Yeah,
it
but
needs to
they
get
do it.
approved over there also.
sure,
But they do it now, just writing square on it and saying, I'm gonna put a garage up and this is where I'm gonna put a house,
Right,
and it's approved.
well, right now, but providing nobody checks with the county, that when you do go to put the house up, that you're gonna get your septic tanks in there.
Well, you have to do that, so you don't get a building permit for the house.
Then they
But I
have
mean,
the
they
garage
can-
and no house.
Right. I mean, we're not, I don't think we have to be the cops to police it. If they wanna, right now, they can build the garage before the house. All they're doing is writing on a piece of paper, this is gonna be my garage, and that's gonna be my house,
mhm,
and it's approved, it's, you
right,
don't accept it, but it's approved.
right.
So what, if we're gonna approve it with a piece of paper, why bother?
I could go either way,
Knows
so,
what's practical for one person, practical for the next, I mean, if that's what you
Mhm.
wanna do, that's what you wanna do, it's not. the
Right.
building Inspector's responsibility to say, well, thinking ahead 10 years from now, if we wanna do a
Mhm.
house, the same, but you. You don't need
Yep.
to read their minds.
But that's what we require them to do right now. They have to show where they would put the house.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just
All I
like-
was saying is there's more to a lot than putting a house.
right,
You have to have room for a septic system, and it has to be so far from the well. Now, you're looking at every lot as being 100% buildable. A lot of lots are not 100%
Mhm.
buildable.
You haven't done a site plan to get your.
So all I'm saying, there you go. All I'm saying is the site plan that you're submitting should also put on there where your septic's gonna be.
sure,
They do have to county for them.
You don't have to do that, the
You don't
only
have to
time
do
you
that
have
right
to
now.
do that is when you're building a house. So, and you don't have to do it now, but doing the plot plan, it's a way, no matter which way you do it, you allow a garage, you allow it. Cause you don't need a septic,
And they screw up their lot, cause now they can't.
that ain't our problem.
right,
Right, but now they got the garage and they'll just laugh at you. I never intended to build a house there anyway.
Well, they never intended to
Yeah.
do it anyway.
I don't think there should be a restriction on putting a
No.
building on a piece of property. You got-
No,
You wanna put a garage out there, and live in the city, go for it.
Yep.
you can do it now by doing
So,
the plot.
yeah, so I mean, we can leave that was the plan commission's recommendation, was to take that off and let people do
I
whatever.
would take it off,
It was just what the building inspector had suggested, so,
leaving it or taking it
taking,
off,
I
he,
think this helps right here.
yeah,
really?
To take it off, straight.
well,
Me
he
too.
had he just said, the reason why he recommends maybe keeping it is because of this, to make sure that the place is buildable if needed, but
It's not our.
But he also said it's up to them, so it was just something, it was food for thought, kind of.
Right,
So
but
you're saying leave the heading of C in there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what he was.
Don't strike it.
That's what the building inspector had suggested, but he wanted to give, this is why, one reason not to.
I'm for leaving it in.
And I don't think it matters either way, except they just gotta come in with a piece of paper and say that's where they're gonna put the house.
Right,
If it isn't the scale and it isn't per, nobody knows if it's legal, so why
so,
are we gonna govern them? The way they do it now, it's not even a scale. And they don't get a perk test,
mhm,
because it's a garage,
Yeah.
There's no bed use. right? So if they build a garage and they can't put a house up because they put the garage in the way,
yeah,
that ain't our problem.
right. So you wanna, we
I
wanna,
would strike it.
so you wanna strike it,
Yeah, I think it just makes enough sense. I mean, it's doing. You leave it in and just come in with a piece of paper, you get one more piece of paper that who's verified. Nobody's been finding that. That's what he's gonna do.
Or they build the garage and don't get a permit.
I mean, it's a matter of the building inspector would give the permit and they would say, this is where you should do it, you
The
know,
building inspector's got questions.
If he
Right.
wants to, if he wants to advise you on this, go ahead.
Right,
We can-
and that's something that he can do, you know, anyway, so.
Correct.
So the first line in there says, allowed only if permitted use is already located on the parcel. Permitted use in R1 is residence. So you'd have to have the residence there.
Well,
before
this
you
is
could
ag
build a
2
dwelling.
currently. We're in
This
ag
is
2.
ag 2, but it could be residential, acre and a half lot.
Well, it could be, but this is an ag 2, so.
Right. So the permitted use would have to already be there.
Mhm.
So the house has to be there before you can build an accessory building.
Well, and that's what doesn't make sense. A
So then
detached
take the
garage
whole
will be
worksheet out
allowed,
of there.
right? Well, and
And that's what I'm saying, take it out,
so just take that entire,
take it all out.
So just make letter C accessory buildings.
Letter C and
accessory
go to one.
structures.
permitted accessory structures,
Yep.
and then, okay. And then number 1, so we are changing it to allow 2 accessory buildings rather than 1.
Yeah.
Removing gazebos from the list of accessory buildings, adding detached garage. Removing the located in the rear or side yard. And then. Keeping those sizes. Changing the rear side, rear yard setback to 15. The only other thing that the building inspector had recommended was the 1.5 acre parcel to say up to 1.5 acre, because there are some that might be less and those have been always allowed, so. So I would recommend changing that. And then on page 8. Oh, wait, sorry, we're on 9. This is a long one. On page 10, I took out letter A because that's redundant. Accessory building maximum of 20 feet per,
Put that out, so it's redundant.
Right.
on letter C.
yep. And then under letter C, the minimum of 15 feet, taking out those under yards, taking those out because that's redundant, and then the rear yard setback 15. And on page 11, the building area 600 square feet rather than 1,000.
And you're taking C out completely.
Yeah, so what
Well-
C will say is permitted accessory structures, period. And then the rest of that paragraph will come out and then you'll have the, although, no, permitted accessory structures and uses, because you've got number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those are,
Correct.
those are uses. So I'm gonna leave that first sentence and then take out the rest,
Yeah, that'll just be like, letter C will just be basically like the title.
right? So is there a motion to accept, to approve 6063 with those changes?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second,
all those in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? All right. 6064. So this one, I would just again make that change to say up to 1.5 acres.
All the same info though. It goes,
What's that?
all the same info as the previous.
Right, yep, otherwise,
Just not in the code right now, but that's already been approved. It's just not actually in it.
and then everything else is the same about the maximum height 35 feet, the minimum side yards setback 15, the rear yard, and then the minimum living area is 600. Any discussion? Otherwise, a motion to approve that with that one change.
I'll make one.
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? 6065. This is again the up to 1.5 acres to make that change. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much. So this is R2. We did recommend leaving the minimum living area of a dwelling at 1,000 square feet, just because this would be multifamily. We thought that that was appropriate.
I'll make a motion to do it.
with that change?
Yep.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. 6249. We just felt that we could remove all those placement restrictions. The letter B, landscaping and decorative uses, taking out the word accessory, because that just kind of made us think of like accessory buildings, that kind of thing. The building inspector didn't really have any input on that, no issue with those changes.
I'll
Any,
make a motion.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, fences and walls. So this one, the building inspector recommended the definition where it says fences means an enclosed barrier. He recommended fence means an enclosure, any enclosure, barrier, or boundary consisting of wood, metal, plastic, stone, or other material. His reasoning was that that would eliminate the potential argument that my fence is not intended to prevent ingress or egress. I'm using a composite material, which does not fit the definition. So he recommended making that change to the, it'd be that second paragraph there. Any discussion
No, I'll make a motion.
to approve with that change?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, 6251 pools. So the reason behind this one was I realized that my little doggy pool technically needed a permit. And that just doesn't make sense to me. And I went on Facebook or on Amazon and found some like inflatable pools, and those would need a permit. And so we wanted to change it so that it would really target the permits where it's intended. So basically took out all of that and then really addressed the exempt pools. Indicating that anything storable, waiting, those, are not, those would be exempt. As long as they are removed by October 1st and installed after May 1st of each year. Now, the building inspector did have one recommendation to put at the end of each year and meeting the provisions of SPS 316. And I would put the link in there, which is essentially the electrical code. That way, if they do need to upgrade their electrical for any use with this pool, then they would have to get a permit for that, but not necessarily for the pool. So that was his only recommendation in that regard. Otherwise, the rest of the changes, again, the 15-foot setback, and then the last line, just drywall, making that dry well for grammar.
I'll
Any
make a motion.
to approve with
To
that
approve.
change? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, public comment. Anybody who wants to talk with us today? Bless your heart.
Perfect.
Announcements. You want to talk about the election?
Yep, election last Tuesday went great. We had a really good turnout, especially for our primary. We had 1,021 voters come through the door. That's really a great problem to have. The election inspectors and chief election inspector all did great. And we're looking forward to the presidential in November, so all ready and trained for it.
Thank you. Kowalski Walking Trail got some signs put up, to remind people to please pick up after their dogs. Lithocrafters donated the signs, the town provided the posts, and he installed them. Just a friendly reminder to people to please pick up after your dogs, so this can continue as a nice place to walk. The comprehensive plan update kickoff meeting will be September 16th at 6 p.m. The Plan Commission will be working with Bay Lakes, in working on our 20-year comprehensive plan update. All board members and public are welcome and encouraged to come. And it will be noticed as such that there might be a quorum of board members. Tyco JCI, their update is posted to the website under the water tab. They have done, there have been 3 additional wells requested for a total of 121. 13 additional wells have been installed since last month for a total of 63. DNR update, that their update was posted to the website under the water tab. It was basically the DNR's response to Tyco regarding the GET system. The GETS has pumped and treated approximately 148 million gallons of groundwater from November of 2022 through May of 2024. It was effective at removing PFAS from the water it treated, to the point where PFOA concentrations ranged from 4,500 to 14,000 parts per trillion. And after the after treatment, it went down to less than 3.1. And then PFOS, the influent groundwater concentrations ranged from 540 to 900 parts per trillion. Treated water went down to less than 0.87. The operation of the GETS has removed approximately 13.2 pounds of PFAS. Overall, there's been a decrease in PFAS concentration in the surface water, with no significant change in PFAS concentrations in groundwater, with concentrations increased in some wells and decreased in others. I have heard from some residents that Tetra Tech, that's the contractor working with EPA, that they have reached out with access agreements for sampling and investigatory activity in regards to EPA's response and enforcement responsibilities under the CERCLA. That was the Superfund petition that was done by town residents Cindy Boyle and Jeff Lamont, I believe in 2022, to have the town of Peshtigo designated as a Superfund site. So they have been reaching out with those access agreements. Residents undergoing testing will be notified of the results, and if testing shows contamination above the EPA's recommended levels, then they will work directly with the property owner. As far as the Tyco litigation, we're still in the litigation and the wheels of justice go very slow. Anybody else have any other announcements? All right, minute approval. This is pages 26, 27 in your packets. If there's no opposition, we will go by unanimous consent. Anybody opposed to approving the minutes from July 16th? All right. Mike, you are up.
You'll have my report.
Yep.
So since the last meeting, we did have 11 fire calls, fire department, and we had 1 house fire on road. Is damage. We had 1 vehicle fire. We had, I think, 4 vehicle crashes of various sorts. And then this number of miscellaneous that I call round out the month. Under equipment and apparatus status, all of our trucks went through annual PMs and DOT required inspections. Everything passed except our older water tender that needs some exhaust work done. That's scheduled pending the arrival of parts. So we're having that all done at Frank's Repair, and everything else did pass go. And that one will, once the exhaust work is done, that will pass the inspection as well. Our run ladder were all tested by Great Lakes Testing Service, came up as another required inspection we do every year. And our annual inspection on our hydraulic and our hydraulic extrication was completed this month as well for the year. So we're good on our equipment. Under training, we had 4 firefighters completed their initial new employee orientation. We have one of those new firefighters right now in her 16-hour entry-level fire training class at NWPC. Our firefighters went through annual driver training last week, and 7 of our firefighters went through PSPS training last week. Last Tuesday, actually during the lesson. We participated in National Night Out both in Merrimack and in Peshtigo, so we split our crews, went both places, and involved in both those. Under fundraising and donations, we did receive a $500 donation from the Merrimack County Tavern League. We used that money for buying some flotation coats. We bought some coats, armor type jackets for cold weather operations for a boat operator when we're going out on the bay or in the river. We conducted our fundraising cookout at Forgotten Fire Library Saturday. That was tempered a little bit by the weather. We worked with extra rain, so that cut it to our hopefully make about $100 out of that one. We are kicking off our cash raffle. So if that's to pick us up here, some posters, whatnot, that's gonna run until November 11th, and we're selling tickets for $20 a pop, 6 for 100, and we got some really nice prizes. Top prize of $1,500, second prize of $1,000. We have a total of 10 prizes out of that. And under our personnel, 3 of our college firefighters are going back to school next week, so we're gonna lose them at least for less than a year, except for weekends and when they're back on spring break and whatnot. And we're standing at 23 firefighters in total. We are taking applications.
All right, thank you. Constable report, Amber had a busy month. With 9 animal-related incidents, as well as a tree blocking a road, some pump runoff, excess rubbish in yard, and littering complaints. Building inspector, there were 15 additional building permits issued in July. And Dave Beekler, I do not see him here for the Merrimack County Board. Number 12, treasury report. That is in your packet, page 30. If there's no opposition, we will go with unanimous consent to approve the treasurer's report. All right, unanimous consent. Is there a motion to approve the vouchers and payments of bills?
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, and then Jody wants to talk a little bit about things that are going, some changes with the treasurer.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so as discussed, everything is gonna go to the number system instead of having your PHO, PHE, whatever, letters. So it has been set up, I handed it out to everybody, so please go through that, review it. So the first page where it says new class department codes, those are our main categories. Just like it would be kind of set up on your, look at your budget, you know, you have your financial, your treasurer, things like that. So that is all set up as main categories. This follows the Wisconsin Uniform Codes for municipalities, and also it is set up with our the CT state report that we have to fill out too. Now, the second page is in your object codes. So these object codes are technically under each one of those department codes. So no, like Keith's wage would go under machinery and equipment. It would be listed as 501111. And Kathy Brandt's wage under what would it be? Town Hall Garage would also be that same object code. So there's not a different code for a wage under whatever department you have. So if there's anything that you think might be necessary to add under this object codes, please let me know. Because we're gonna wait till January to do this, but we are gonna start importing it, and it hopefully will all be done before we hit budget. Simply because we didn't wanna have the rollover between December, January, entering December bills in January, and we would have the different codes, so we are gonna start it immediately.
The 50140 per diems, who would that be? Would that be like, I guess I'm not sure. what that-
Mileage and stuff.
The what?
the per diems,
Under which one?
50140.
That
Um,
could be anybody. It could be anybody. It
Okay.
Could be, so the guys down at recycling center. Well, that's not necessarily, but yeah, it could be anybody, not that we've necessarily used it.
Okay,
Just so it doesn't fall into like our normal budget, like you
Sure.
just know that was like above and beyond our.
that's
normal
something
procedures.
above and beyond.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right,
And then the last page of it is, our revenue codes.
And the print up for small.
I know. I can email this to you too, so that you can
That's
look at
okay.
it on your computers. And go through it. There's more revenue codes. So yeah, basically, it's that right now we have a 8-page list of codes
mhm.
that when we get invoices or anything in that we go by. So now we just cut it down.
You're gonna, those codes are signed on the public works.
Yeah, so Public Works, and I can either run a report just under, say, 53311, or I can run the whole report with the object codes as well.
And the object codes would be for all of these,
Correct, that list of
Classes.
object codes will be under each
sure.
category.
Mhm.
You may never use it under that category,
Sure.
but it's just, this is what the,
It's clear.
yes, thank you.
I'm anxious to see what it looks like when
Yeah.
we get the reports
It's
in the
gonna be
future.
it's gonna be a huge training.
Yeah. I finally figured out how to manage the other.
So that's all on that.
All right.
Had any questions, please let me know.
Number 13, WTA Fall Workshops, Convention and Town Law Conference. So this is in your packet. There are conference fall workshops coming up in September. I, for one, would like to go to the Rock Garden one on Thursday, September 19th. I don't know, was any of the office staff wanting to go?
I had
think
a
we were just gonna-
online one,
The virtual one
yeah,
for the workshop?
one of,
Okay,
but I haven't signed up yet.
okay. So is there anybody else who would like to go? Or can we, I guess, we could just do approval for, is there any concern with having anybody who wants to attend these attend?
One specific thing that I will ask, because there are a couple things in here that are specific to the election coming up and different election changes and stuff like that, obviously going into a presidential election. We want to make sure everything is right. So, I would just ask if you guys would be willing also to maybe, if Rebecca has interest as
Mhm.
chief election inspector, if she has interest in going to the trainings, because most all of the election ones also count towards training hours that we need anyways,
Sure.
for recertification, so.
And she was gonna check with the WTA as well to
Just make
see
sure
if,
it's still, like, not the basics.
Sure.
Like if it's actual different stuff, so we're still waiting on a response from them, but just if you guys, would be willing to consider approving her included with the board, for some of those trainings as well.
Yeah, whoever wants to go,
okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, any opposed? All right, number 14, as we know, these chairs up here have, been somewhat problematic as they like to just deflate. So we were looking at wanting to purchase chair replacements. Kayla's been doing some look on, Amazon. So I would like to make a motion that we look at replacing the chairs not to exceed $1,500 for 7 total.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, number 15. So this is on pages 43 through 44. This is the Marinette County Emergency Management Training. I had received an email about this a while ago, so I am registered for the January 8th. But there are additional trainings there available to, if anybody would be interested in that. Um, So just bringing it to everybody's attention, I guess. Number 16, transfer of retail liquor and tobacco license from Marinette Shell to True North Energy, remaining at the same location. This is a sale of the
So
property,
moved.
right?
Yep.
Okay,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? All right. Number 17, Board of Appeals. Tom Lawson has resigned from Board of Appeals. So I would like to make a motion to appoint Scott Schmidt to fulfill his term through January 27th of 2027, as well as to appoint Alan Archibald to fulfill the alternate term through January 31st, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We will be having training, for the Board of Appeals on Thursday, August 29th at 9 AM. Anybody is welcome to attend to see what that's about. There is a remaining vacant alternate position on the Plan Commission. If
Is that
anybody is
mandatory
interested.
to be there?
It's mandatory for the Board of Appeals members, not for anybody else.
I'm just wondering if you're making it so they have to be there.
Yes, so everybody has been, everyone is able to attend that, other than the two alternates. So I will come up with a way to train those. And that, so basically, there's an hour-long meeting, hour-long video that UW Extension put out, and it's really good. I redid the binders, pulled out information that doesn't pertain to the town, and put it together a lot of information for them. My plan moving forward will be anybody who joins will need to do this video, watch it here so we know that they watched it. So that's where we're at. But yes, they are all required to attend.
And what happens if they don't?
So they have the option to say they do not want to attend and they resign.
Okay.
Number 8, capital improvement plan. So I want to thank everybody who took the time to complete the asset inventory. Chief Folgert for working on importing his information into the spreadsheet. I know Keith was instrumental in putting together information, Kathy Brandt, anybody else who did that. Daryl had conversations with Daniel Foth, who's going to be working with us on the capital improvement plan. And we have a meeting at the end of next month, to kind of start this process. So what I would like to do is make a motion to dissolve the previous committee structure, that the previous board had, and things unfortunately didn't really go very far. That had Rick McGowan, John Radloff, Trigby Root, and Karen Sylvester. And then we will just add people if we need to. So that's my motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? HVAC update, Integrity Engineering is working with the contractor to schedule a pre-construction conference at the town hall. MSA will be present. They sent the information out that needs to be completed for paperwork by all the subcontractors. I'm anticipating that to be scheduled after the holiday. And then the town hall staff will be present to be able to talk about work being done with the election coming up in November. We're hoping that they will start by at least laying some concrete or cement that they need to do. As soon as they start any work, then we will be out of non-compliance and we can start getting reimbursed. I think there's like 25,000 or so money, dollars that we have out there that we have not been able to be reimbursed because we're out of compliance with start date. The current plan is still to hope for completion by December 31st. But some of the equipment, the custom made is right. And that was expecting to come in like beginning of December, I think, right? Okay. So So if we need to, do an amendment to try to extend it, we will, but we're gonna keep our fingers crossed that. Right. So hopefully, now. The roof, what are we,
I talked to GPS. He's looking to see what events and stuff he needed to get rid of. The old boiler's gonna stay in until the new one's in, so. My suggestion is. To do whatever minutes, get rid of the hospital, we need to see, or. Activities that we would set for. Look, that's gonna come back next year.
Yeah, I'm gonna get older, I'll go see how he wants.
I don't think we
Okay.
can put this thing in a year, because we may have a bigger problem. You know, something like
I'm gonna talk to him. If he can't, if he's gonna put it off till next year, then I want him to come and check the roof again. when he's going through and make sure we good for the winter, like he did last
that.
year.
If
No
he's gonna
charge.
do it, we wanna get it done in the next month or two.
Yeah.
The weather's right. What's this gonna do?
Right.
So, then GPS will accommodate what we need to do. It's not leaking.
Nope. You never know.
It's applicated, sitting there. And
yeah,
We'll see where he
as long
wants
as
to
we
go.
got something right, of course,
right,
and Jerry, he does know about the election, we bring it in conversation.
Okay. perfect. All right, ordinance policy review, so this is pages 45 through 52. I think I lost a page, there we go. So this came from the ordinance policy review committee. Again, taking out the state law references. Linking some of the statutes, taking out the redundant information that's within the statute. Just gonna go through and see if there was anything. That was really what it was, just really taking out information that's redundant. On page 51, under the regular meetings, we put that, the town board will be, the meetings will be held at 6 PM. We had already made that change previously. Kind of cleaning up the whole meetings must be noticed and then putting what the statute is for that. Any discussion on any of these changes
I'll make a motion.
to approve with those changes?
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, buildings and grounds.
Okay, we got a problem with one of the toilets in the girls' bathroom. We got quoted from Team for $1,036.80 to do it. I've already given them the go ahead to get the stuff purchased and get it in there, and we can get it done. Doesn't have to take action.
Something that Kayla and I were talking about today for that first stall. Just something to consider for you guys. Maybe we could make that like a changing station. We get kids' parties and whatnot, just something to put in there.
Where's that?
The first stall, that's empty in the
Oh, the empty
women's
one.
The
bathroom.
plumbing
Yeah,
is already covered in that one, but the stall is,
Right.
so we thought, I don't know, just
What
cause
do you
it's
want
there,
to
like,
just get like a baby changing station in there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
one of
I
those
guess-
things that hangs on. the
I
wall.
guess that really isn't highly expensive. We could probably manage that.
yeah,
Yeah, they're quite.
If we
so
could put $1,000 in there, we could probably put 89 more.
there you go. So
He's gonna hang it on the wall.
Plumber.
I would think so.
Plumber, let plumber do it. I'll tell him to put one in when he's doing the other.
All right,
As long as he keeps it within the quote.
right, there you go. No, it was just trying to figure out what else to do with that,
Yeah.
so, and I think with having the classroom rented for whatever, that might be good. Anything else from buildings and grounds standpoint? Recycling center
Let's,
or buildings and grounds?
well, what do you
Yeah,
want now?
the fun-
Recycling or building? and
Well, when
Are
you,
you done?
I'm done with building. and
okay,
grounds.
then recycling center.
Timmy,
Well, then, we figured out, what was it, the last, the electronic recycling is been done and completed and billed from RZR Recycling. And so that's totally changed over to the new company Greenway, I believe. So that's working really well. RZR will be coming out, picking up a load of Freon items that are piling up, so those are probably gone or will be gone by next Wednesday. And we looked into for the scrap iron metal, separating out ferrous and non-ferrous metals to see if it would be cost effective. And at this point, we don't get enough, and the pay is not worth trying to separate it and having it done properly, so. Yeah, so he's basically, we're getting paid the same price right now for our scrap metal altogether than that we would be getting paid for a mixed sturdy aluminum price that, he doesn't even separate it out there. So we looked into that, and that's, all I got.
All right. Roads and ditches?
We wanna put out the advertisement in the paper for, cleaning up the ditch on Auburn from Poplar Ridge, roughly a quarter mile. On the north side, trees are growing in it. Advertise for ditching and culverts inside, replace the blacktop driveways on Bodum Addition from N 3834 to Highway 64, flooding and stuff. And then blacktopping Project 3 Old Peshtigo Road from Flame Road to Shot Road, pulverizing 20 feet wide, 1 foot shoulders, 6 inches of limestone, 2 inches of asphalt. And then from Old Peshtigo Road down Raider to the first curve, approximately a quarter mile, 6 inches of pulverizing, 6 inches of gravel, 20 feet wide, 1 foot shoulder. The town will pay for the asphalt and the gravel. It'll be just trucking and laying. And we want to advertise that in the paper, whatever paper Caleb picks.
Sealed bids? I don't know how
Sealed.
much this expected sealed, okay, I assume that is probably.
Sealed bids, and we're gonna have a pre-bid meeting. Must attend the meeting to bid on the job.
And you said the town would do asphalt and gravel?
Town will supply the asphalt and the gravel. We have to, if we supply the asphalt, then we collect our 28 or 29 grand.
Oh, so this is utilizing the, okay. So this is utilizing the grant then, and- okay,
And- Right. And we might do all three. We might do 1 or 2. Don't know.
See what they come in at, we can
okay.
compare them costs.
You're gonna bid the project separate?
There's 3 separate ones.
You have to make that.
Caleb's got the paper.
But, so 3 separate ones, but this is all together.
The blacktop units.
Okay.
If we do Old Peshtigo, we're doing Raider at the same time. It
Okay.
only makes sense.
It's just one.
It's
Okay.
not that. Raider isn't that long.
Is there a timeline for that project? I mean, is it something
Has
that
to
we
be
would?
done before November 15th, I believe we put in there.
Are you going after the trip money for that?
No, the 29 grand that we have.
Okay, so then it's gotta be bid the right way.
Nope,
Okay,
nope,
yep.
nope,
Okay.
nope. We got the approval. That's why we're supplying.
County gave you the. quote.
That's why we're
Okay.
supplying the asphalt only, then we get it.
The county-
Otherwise it was, yeah, otherwise it ain't worth collecting the 28 grand and doing $110,000 job that we could do it for, but if we bid it out, it's gonna be 160.
fine.
that-
As long as Eric gets said to go on and he's
Yeah.
control, so.
So it cut, you get 30, but it costs you 30. Makes no sense. So yeah, they approved, that's why we're buying the asphalt.
Makes sense to me.
And if they let us buy the asphalt all the time, I think you'll get more people to bid it. You know, you got two asphalt guys in town, maybe they'll bid it. Maybe they'll come from the Green Bay locals. Who knows?
So we can post that on the website and then run it in one of the papers.
Yeah, I'd recommend just putting in Eagle Herald. No,
We never did.
Wherever you see fit. It's used
I'll leave that up to Caleb.
Very much impression you.
Put
Either.
them in both of them and you're covered everything.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't, we wouldn't have enough money for that.
Yeah, I
There
don't
is a
know how-
cost.
Depending if I can't, I may not be able to get it in the Peshtigo times, depending on when the pre-bid meeting is, just to allow them time to actually show up, just because,
The pre-bid is September 12th.
okay.
This is correct, except for the W is not.
Got it.
That's that.
You go clear to September 12th for the pre-bid? Is that what you said?
September 12th. yeah.
All right, and when are the bids due then? 19th? Okay, gotcha.
No, all we're doing is
Wait,
making everybody aware that we're bidding it. I don't even know that we had to get this. To get
Bids are
this
through the
approved.
12th.
Yeah,
so the third is like, not
No.
next week, the week after.
Correct, so it might have to just be the Eagle Herald, but I will take a look and see.
Okay,
Eagle
Depends on
Herald
when
is
the
fine.
deadlines are.
right,
Website is. social media, it's-
Yeah.
yeah. All right, anything else roads?
We put culverts in on Hale School Road and one on Kraus. The Brightspeed went through our culvert, but they don't show it being there, so it's in a tangled mess right now underneath the culvert that was put in. So they don't show it. So either do we, so I guess good luck when we try to hook it up. And I think we should start having permitting for utilities.
Utilities, that's one of
That
my,
way you know, because they went right through the pole.
wow,
It was an older pole, so.
Almost hit 3 trucks that were working on the side of the road that didn't even know they were working on. it.
so if we're gonna start doing utility permits, that wouldn't have to go in front of the plan commission at all, right? We could
No,
just
no.
develop something and,
The board adopted out of the permit notice, Brightspeed always sent us deal,
sure,
but with all this stuff going in that spectrum's putting in, we used to always get a detailed plan of where they were working. When
But Brightspeed did this and they don't, Brightspeed didn't even
they
contact
used to
anybody.
always send one and Herman and I would, whoever would look at it and, see what they were doing and let them go. But you just gotta notify them if you're gonna do a permit process.
right, yeah.
No,
I know I have some information printed off for it because it came up in the past, at one of the county meetings. And I talked with the town of Grover, they said they were going to do utility permits,
I
but then
think we
opted
did.
not to. But I will try to look at
are you
that.
talking a fee for that permit or just a
I don't know,
free permit, just so we're notified, right?
is that what we want to do?
That's
Not a
what I
fee?
think.
I think maybe you should do free permit.
Yep.
If you do work without a permit,
I don't
Or
mind
penalty?
maybe, or penalty.
put a penalty on it.
The SIG Amber on them.
I was gonna look to see what other municipalities do and try to kind
I
of tailor
wouldn't
it.
charge.
So free permit and then maybe a fine if work done without.
So the asphalting will probably won't be done. The culverts are in, but they gotta blacktop them yet. So it'll probably be a week or so.
And what was that culvert one that I signed for the, that was gonna be covered with a grant or something? Or,
That was Dalmer to 620s. That was just,
oh, that was separate. This was
Yeah.
previous that I signed with the DNR.
Oh, that was Harbor.
So that's
Harbor
one that
Road.
went in.
No,
Okay,
no, that thing went, it's too wet, they said, yeah.
okay,
But we put one on Hale School, it was bone dry.
Yeah, that one would be no cost.
right, okay. All right, upcoming meetings are listed there, the plan commission, the regular board meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor? Aye.
I,
Oh, 7 minutes with all that.